And welcome back to the Kyle Sutherland Show. We are feeling good, people. It is a happy... Oh, we did it again. It is February... Spider-Man goes down again. We got to give him a new... How about Spidey goes... You think he can stay up here, people? Spidey goes up there. Okay. Where's the 5? There we go. It is Bingo Bingo Bongo. It is February 15th. It is you're definitely, unless you somehow hacked into my network and you're listening to this live, you are listening to this on February 16th. I hope you had a fantastic weekend. I hope you are working your little butts away and you're at work, you're taking phone calls, you're in the queue, and you're just working away. That's what I hope for you people. I hope you're working. I'm working right now. This is me. Some of us podcasters, no one talks about us on a Sunday night. Some of us have to work. It's 6 o'clock right now. You guys think I want to go home and watch Bridgerton? I don't know. I don't watch Bridgerton. I am home, but no. So just kidding. There's one person that will be smiling / screaming at the TV as I say that. Shout out Tyler. You know why. We had a good show today. Hopefully not keep it super long. Trying to shorten them up a little bit. I think 45 minutes might even be some long as I'm here. I need to get some guests on here. People don't want to hear me talk for 40 minutes. So 30 minutes is our new mark for that, and then we're gonna try to do a guest for 30 minutes. We have no guest today. Maybe next week we'll have a guest. If you would like to be on this podcast, send me a DM. I would love to have anybody on this podcast. Would love to talk to anybody about anything, essentially. I like golf. I like football. I like baseball. I newly like F1. I like golf. Did I say golf? I think I said golf before. So, let me just make sure those things. Football. Baseball. Oh, and Barstool. I mean, come on. Of course. Those are the 3 things I do. I play golf, I watch Barstool content, or baseball or football. So right now, I'm watching a lot of Barstool content because there's nothing else to do. I think I'm actually going to rewatch, and this is ball talk right here, so strap in. You know what I mean? Strap on in. This is ball talk. I think I'm going to rewatch the Internet Invitational, which is just a crazy thing to say. I'm going to rewatch the golf tournament that was put with creators. And I know even me saying that is like, dude, you're a loser. I'm aware. Believe me, I'm very aware that I'm a loser. You don't have to painfully comment. Now, believe me, I need the comments. So go ahead. Comment loser. You know what I mean? I don't care. Do it. I need the engagement. So go ahead, comment away, people. That is A-okay with this guy. Make sure it's recording. Sorry. Where was I? Fuck. See, this is what happens. I get lost too quickly. This is why I need someone else in this. Oh yeah, someone else. So shout out if I need some guests. I think that's a big thing. So today we're gonna talk Pebble Beach. Recap. Talk a little Riv. Going to the next week, talk about my picks, how my picks did. I think actually not a terrible week. Talk a little post what life is post NFL. Talk what playing actual golf, which was awesome. Shot out 55 degrees in Chicago. That was fantastic. And then I want to talk a little bit more about Anthony Kim and Liv. I think that was a very, very cool story if you did not see it. But first, shout out our soon-to-be sponsor because you don't sponsor me yet, but I will. Sun Cruiser, I'm coming for you. You hear that, Sun Cruiser? I'm coming for you guys. You guys will sponsor me. So, shout out Sun Cruiser. Original vodka, a little iced tea, original classic iced tea flavor. Nice mix of vodka and iced tea. Very clean, crisp taste. Absolutely fantastic. So, shout out Sun Cruisers. No bubbles, 100 calories, gluten-free, 1 gram of sugar. That might be on the can that I just read, but it is what they want to tell people. Because Sun Cruiser, let me tell you, Sun Cruiser is made with iced tea, premium vodka, lemon juice, and just that hint of sweetness. Smooth and easy drinking with no bubbles. Cruise into the weekend with Sun Cruiser. No bubbles, 100 calories, gluten-free, 1 gram of sugar. Shout out Sun Cruisers. I just like them. So this is a personal endorsement, and they will sponsor me one day. Same thing with Bounty Paper Towels. Bounty Paper Towels will sponsor me one day. Bounty Paper Towels makes a superior paper towel than the competition. This is something I'm very serious about, people. If you know me, you know my love for Bounty Paper Towels. There is nothing better on this market than a Bounty Paper Towel. Absorbent, super absorbent, and wrinkle resistant is what I would say about Bounty. Just 3 key elements you want a paper towel. So, shout out the 2 soon-to-be sponsors, Sun Cruiser and Bounty Paper Towels. Let's live a bountiful life, Sun Cruiser. That was so bad. I'm sorry. Turn this podcast off. If you're listening to this, you deserve better. Turn this off. Pardon my takes up, I'm sure. There's some other better podcasts up. Go listen to those because you don't need to listen to my dumbass talk again. But I do appreciate it. And if you have not, subscribe. If you have not yet, I very much appreciate any platform that you could find. Go to Walmart, go to Target, grab the phones in the store, and subscribe to all of them also. Because we want to subscribe everywhere. And if it's fake, it is. It is what it is, people. It is what it is. We live in a fake world. So go to every Best Buy you know and click subscribe to Birdie to Bogey on all platforms. If you have to stay in Target for upwards of 4 to 7 hours to do this, it is what it is. Send me the bill, I'll throw it away. So, Pebble Beach. I hope you watched it. This is one of my favorite tournaments. Let's say, one of my favorite non-major, I would say I said something about waste management last week. Did I? Yeah, I did. I said something about waste management last week. But Pebble for me, I think represents a lot. I think Pebble for me is growing up. We went to Pebble, we went to the golf course, but there's an 8-16. There's a big drive you can do on the outside of the golf course, and then we went to the pro shop. So for me, I have really fond memories of being just at Pebble Beach with my family. And for me, and especially being in America, being American, being Chicago, it's always represented like one of the top golf courses that's attainable, right? You have your Augustas, your Cypresses. You're never going to play those, right? Me, as just a lonely surf, is not going to go be able to play with the kings at Augusta National, right? I'm aware of that. Very aware of that, right? But Pebble Beach is somewhere that us lowly surfs we can go to. We are allowed. They let us put our overalls on and show up at Pebble Beach. And that's really, really cool, right? It's always something to me that it's attainable. So I love watching golf courses that I won that I know. I think I spoke a little bit about that Aaron Hills last week. So Pebble is one of those courses where you know a lot of the holes too. I think 7. God, I would argue that 7 might be one of the most famous par 3s out there behind Spider-Man. No! Sad. Spidey fell. Put him back up here. We'll just forget him. Every single week we're going to forget. So he's going to go. He's going to hang out right below Mr. Ed. I'll hang out right by Mr. Ed. You know what? Here. How about Spuddy goes up here? There we go. Now he's not. If he falls off there, that's a bigger issue. So a very attainable course, somewhere that I think is very easy to get to. It's not like you have to go to the middle of nowhere like you have when you have to go if you're going to Bandon. It's somewhere that it's playable. So it's very cool then to see the pros just absolutely demolish it, and with the conditions. Like I would have shot 125 to 150 in those conditions. I would love to see what that would be. I think that'd be a super cool video. So Pebble, if you want to have us out, I would love to do shooting 150 out there, trying to break 100 at a real course. But those were some conditions. I think it seemed like conditions were really bad Wednesday. I think there was some really cool. I think I saw some videos. I think it was Akshay on the 7th where when he hit a wedge into going towards the water, and the wind was so high it blew it right back up and then blew it around, and he's kind of doing a little trick shot. So if you don't, I think that was on the PGA Tour's Twitter or Instagram. So definitely give that a look. I think that was really, really, really cool. And then I think Scottie hit mini driver into 7 on the first day of the tournament. The wind was so bad. So really, really interesting conditions. You could see conditions were really kind of deteriorating today as the tournament went on. Definitely was getting worse for the leaders, which was even more impressive for Collin kind of hanging on. And he was shooting a 63 in those conditions where he was playing in kind of the worst. He didn't shoot 63. He shot 67. Scottie shot 63. Collin shot 67. That's not as impressive. But he shot 67, his third lowest of the round. 62 yesterday, which really won the tournament. But 67 today, especially playing that. I mean, if you watched it, you know the 18th hole. So, what was his? Who is this? Not Frederick catch up. It was. He made a birdie, so he fell. Oh, Ludwig done 11. Oh, that's pretty bad. He ended up making bogeys. He didn't fall that much. Who was this guy? Oh, Jacob Bridgman. So, if you didn't see, Jacob Bridgman had an all-timer on 18. So, hits his tee shot, I think, okay. Absolutely blast his second one over the green, over the grandstands, but safe into Pebble Beach, right? Is probably why it's God's name. I stole that joke from Jim Nance. Shout out. So he goes down to play it off the pebbles, hits it back up, tries to hit it back to, which I think was over the grandstands. And if you've ever hit a difficult shot and failed, you know how much it sucks. I have never done that with millions of dollars on the line. I cannot imagine being down in that pebble area, hitting a shot, it ricocheting off the rocks, going back in the water. I cannot imagine that doing that. The mentals that has to put you under is demon-like, right? If you are, I would be losing my mind if that happens. Or I lose my freaking mind if I chip it and I fub a wedge shot, right? And it still have an opening. If you're on Pebble, you take all this time, you go down there, and then you just hit it in the water. I might have stood down there and hit 7 more. He got a ruling, which I didn't know that. Okay, so he got to take where his last ball crossed out of bounds, and then go take. So he took that shot, he took the penalty shot, and then he was hitting 4 from where he originally. So 1 was his drive, 2 was his, I think probably 3 wood, 3 was from the Pebble, 4 was so 4 then was the penalty. He hit 5 right, kind of. This is kind of like he goes back. This is the Pebble area, right? He goes back up out of here, walks back up, climbs back up there, hits his shot, sticks it on the green pretty close, and then makes his bogey. All in told, fantastic up and down. I mean, after doing that, making a bogey in that, downright impressive. Now, he obviously had, I think he was in a 19 going into that, so he was going for an eagle to get to 21, which is what Collin was at going into that. So, you can't knock a guy for trying to win a golf tournament, right? You gotta do what you gotta do to win a golf tournament. Totally understand, right? So that's where not knocking it all. What does suck for Collin, which it ended up not sucking, that I think it took 19 minutes for him to play that shot out in total. So Collin in his poster was talking about how he was just pacing back and forth to the water. I mean, that's gotta suck. Imagine 19 minutes after you hit your drive, standing in the fairway, waiting before you go hit your approach shot to go win a golf tournament. My brain would have been leaking out of my freaking ears, people. It would have been leaking down my ears. My brain would have been leaking out of my eyeballs if I had to do that. That's insane. I think shout out Collin, which was very interesting to post around your opportunity. He shouted out TGL. So if you caught that, very interesting shout out. He shouted something out like having to wait and stand in the one spot for TGL kind of helped him out. It's very interesting kind of insight there. With TGL being more of me, maybe not being able to, as much walking around through the course and more of it stand around and kind of waiting. So interesting insight to see if that is helping them kind of get dialed in for some of these large tournaments and some of these delays. So congratulations to Collin Morikawa, first win since 2023. Fantastic win by him. At especially one of the better venues in golf, and I would imagine Pebble will be one of his finer victories besides his majors in his career. And he was one that a couple years ago, right? I think you would have said major, right? As he starts knocking things off, I think he was an early pick for. Collin might win 2 this year, right? I mean, I think that was through a lot of the podcast sphere, people were saying. And then Collin struggled a little bit, to be honest, right? And I would say he would be the first one to tell you that he struggled. And I think it was very cool that he announced his baby after his win today. And it kind of also talked about how that kind of came with a new mentality, a new sense of a new purpose, I think is what the words he might have used. And how he kind of is really going to start, he's playing for something maybe larger than himself, and he's playing for kind of a family now. So that was a really interesting press conference. Very humble, a young man that at one time, I don't say he was egotistical and brash. I wouldn't use those words to describe him whatsoever. But he had a little swagger, I would say, right? Shout out Frankie Borelli giving him the inspiration to take, I think, to wear the suit at Liberty National, right? He kind of started that, like, kind of cool. He was kind of a Rico Suave kind of fellow, right, I would say. But very interesting. Very, very, very interesting for Collin to see what he kind of does here going on the rest of this year. I think I don't want to call him usually someone people win at these tests of a golf course and in elevated events. Say it's an early pick for a major, right? I would say Goddard up and Morikawa would be two ones that would not shock me at all knocking off a major this year. Especially if Scottie Scheffler, decides the first day of the golf tournament he doesn't really want to play. And then I think shoots even par and then just destroys everyone the last day. So getting to Scottie. This man, he's Scottie Scheffler's an animal. And I'm officially I've liked Scottie Scheffler. How would you not like Scottie Scheffler? American, family man. He seems like he has a very good head on his shoulders. Hard not to root for with those kind of accolades, not accolades, those kind of qualities as a man and as an athlete. Hard something not to really root for that, right? But he's crossed the camp for me personally into something almost in if he's playing golf, I have to watch it. And he has got like that, right? His Thursday round wasn't great. Now, luckily, he's the best golfer in the world that he's on. I'll be all he's on ESPN Plus, all the coverages. But he is someone that if he has that golf ball teed up, I would like to watch him play golf. He can, especially today when he kind of is just when he's maybe swinging freely, we'll say. When he is going for it, maybe is better words. I would say that's what he got in today, was kind of having to go for it. It's so much fun to watch. Right? Usually he's more steady Eddie, right? It's par, par, par. If you have a good birdie chance, good eagle chance, you're taking him, right? But you're not taking advantages. You're aiming for middle of greens. You're not aiming for pins as much. Just because that's how he plays, right? That's how Ted Scott plays. That's how Ted Scott caddies, right? That's how it's one of his famous. If you ever, I think he was, I can't remember who he played with. I think Grant. So shout out Grant Horvat had a great video. Sorry, I got a text from one of my friends that played in the golf tournament and said, I played Pebble on PGA and went 23 under and won. I would say if you are 23 under par on a video game, you might be playing on too easy of a mode. I'm just gonna put that out there. If you're 23 under par, maybe take it off child mode, Billy, and put it in a mode that's a little more difficult. Because if you're sending me text messages that you just shot 23 under par in one round, he's probably playing on kid mode. I'm just gonna say it. He's probably playing on kid mode. So he's got bumpers. He's got the three click string. So shout out, good for you, Billy. Really happy that you shot 23 under. That's definitely true. It is true. It's definitely true. But I would like to check the settings. Back to Scottie Scheffler. This man is a machine. That's all we really gotta say. He is never out of it. Never, right? No matter how far back he is, especially the last 2 weeks, what he's really shown is that he is going to make somebody else win the golf tournament. He is not going to let someone blow that golf tournament, and otherwise, it's his. He's going to make someone else raise their game and make some birdies for them to win the golf tournament, right? That's what he did last week. Made Hideki and really Why the F can I not remember who won last week? Wasn't Sue. Oh, it was Gotterup. So Gotterup won last week, and so Hideki blew it a little bit with Gotterup. Scottie was right around there, made them earn it this week. Scottie gets the 20, makes everyone else get the 20, makes Collin get the 22. So it's almost dumb at this point not to take Scottie Scheffler to make a top 10. It's a waste of money. I don't even think they offer the line at some of those spots anymore, I would imagine. Because it's that insane. And he is going to figure out a way to backdoor a tournament, or he's going to win it. Just what it is. So, another, before we get to next week, shout out Rory again. He struggled. Looked like his putter was a little off, and I did call that. I said his putter's been off at the DP the last, I don't know. Over the last couple of tournaments I was watching him at the DP World Tour, his putter was definitely off. But I ate my words today a little bit. He played a very good round, 64 today. So really kind of shook some of the rust off and really started making birdies today. Clean card. Looking at his card now. 32-32 for a 64. 4 birdies on each side. No bogeys, no eagles. Birdied all the par 5s. Yeah. So, good Sunday by Rory. Again, right? Rory's in a spot, right, where we're very used to seeing him. When he's playing for nothing on Sunday and hunting and flags, he looks great. But when he's needs to do something on the week, not much there. Or when he needs to do something on a Thursday or a Friday, in this case it was a Saturday, he kind of, I don't want to say looked bad, but he just looked, his putter was definitely not working. And you could tell he was getting frustrated. 72 yesterday. I think I was watching yesterday, said his first ever triple bogey at Pebble Beach, including the U.S. Open round, which is even crazier because how much harder that played. Had 2 7s on the card yesterday. A triple on 4, and then a quad on 18. So, tough round for Rory yesterday, but really kind of battled back. So, really good to see him fight back there yesterday, or not yesterday, but today. Today, to get really back into an okay spot of the tournament. See how long we've been going, people. 20. Oh, Jesus. Oh, my God. We're on the first topic. Not good. We got to hurry up. So, that's Pebble. Great tournament. Congratulations to Collin. I thought one of the better moments, especially, was him announcing that they're having a child afterwards. He said he's starting telling people this week. So very cool for that. Congratulations to him and his wife. Great to see, kind of, and really makes you start feeling old. If some of these young guys are not really the young guys anymore, and they're starting to be dads, which makes me feel old, especially too. Where some of these guys are like, oh man, I remember them their rookie season and talking about college, and now here they are having kids. And there's a whole new crop of kids on the PGA Tour that I'm watching. So shout out also, I would like to special shout out from Minwoo Lee. Great week by the Australian. So shout out Minwoo. Great week. Tommy, another great week for Tommy. Who else did I have on my list? Sucky day for Akshay. Akshay was leading, I think, by 5 going in today. And kind of blew it. 72, even par today. So, tough day for him. I think they said he didn't record a birdie after yesterday, after the turn. So, went really cold really quick. So, that sucks. I feel bad for him. Cantley with the sneaky Top T14. Tom Hoagie with the T14. Jordan with the sucky 72 today. Sucks for him. Dropping 18 spots today. That sucks. 66, 68, 69, 72 for Jordan for 13. I would like to see him play better. I think he got a sponsors invite for next week, so he'll be in there. But let's see who sucked. No one really that we would not expect to not suck. Steven Yeager is actually a little surprising. 300 only. 2 over on Friday. There's no cut, so it makes it a little bit easier. Oh, so that's... Gotta get to the picks. So, picks for this week were Rory to miss a cut. I picked someone to miss a cut in an elevated event where there was not cuts. So that was really good. That was my bad. So I'm gonna wear that one. We're gonna call that one a loss. You couldn't even bet it, so it's not a loss. Justin Rosie. So Rosie top 10. I think I called was a pick for last week. T37. Loss. Scottie Scheffler, top 10. Not really a easy one, but we'll call that one a win. And this one I think was a little bit of a harder one. Was Tommy Fleetwood, top 10. And that also hit. So, shout out people. Give me money so I can bet these because I'm poor and I don't have any money. So I can't bet all of these right now because I need to save my money to eat food and pay my bills. So I need more money so I can gamble, okay? I could make money on people gambling. Look at this. 2 for 2. I would have made money today. We're making money today, people. We're a profitable enterprise, okay? But I'm going to start I need to start putting like $2 on these and just I was not putting my usual units when I had a job. Because I really haven't bet since I got fired or got laid off. Because I've been a little, trying to be smart, which I hate. I love gambling. So this week, who am I picking this week for the Genesis Invitational? I got a couple people up there. And we're gonna have to start another spot. Top creators. I don't really, Cold cuts. Frankie Borelli, Trent, Riggs, Bobby Fairways. See you later. We need room for gambling. Alright, so Genesis Invitational. Genesis. Sam Burns, top 10. So these are all top 10, okay? So, Sam Burns, top 10. Great week by Sam Burns. Very impressed by his game. I think the elements got to him a little bit today. So I would like to see that. Min Woo Lee. Fantastic. I'm going to say Min Woo Lee top 5. Why? I don't know. Remember, I'm a vibes gambler, okay? We go by vibes in this gambling house, okay? We don't really go. We use a little bit of math, we use a little bit of science, a little bit of physics, a little bit of astronomy, but it's mostly vibes of how we gamble, okay, in this house, okay? Hideki now. Collin's going to be hungover, no. Aaron Rai played like shit. Scottie Scheffler, obviously. It's just stupid not to take. Scottie, you know what? Scottie's going to win this week. Scottie win. Riviera is a usual hard golf course. I don't know how it's gonna play this week, but I think he's gonna win. Rose, and we're gonna say a top 20 from our boy Cam Young. That should still be plus money. So the picks are from over this week are Sam Burns, top 10. Minwoo Lee, top 5. Scottie Scheffler to win. And top 20 for Cameron Young. So I will put those out on socials for later this week also. So if you're watching this on social... Now, I'm not going to put this one's part on social, so you're definitely not watching it. So if you're watching this part right now, this part's only on YouTube right now. So only you YouTubers are watching this part, because this part's not on social. The part was before was on social, but not this part. So now we're time traveling. So Riviera, shout out Riviera. Interested to see what that. I think my boy is getting a sponsor's invitation. My boy being Jordan Spieth. Shout out, that's what my name is. My drone is named after. Spieth Force 1 is in the air. I love Spieth Force 1. He has replaced Dr. Doolittle drone, who unfortunately perished in a tree. I don't know who else took. Homa? He won there once. So we'll say shout out Riviera. Shout out 18th hole. Love that one. That's a great one. Gonna play some Riviera this week in PGA Tour because it's fun. I like Riviera. So I might stream some episodes of that. So I might stream some of that. So I might check that out on either Instagram or TikTok. I'll probably be live on one of the two of those. I think TikTok is that we've had better success on being live. Want to go over some F1 stuff. There's some stuff as a newbie that I've learned that I want to share with you guys. So there is some new F1 stuff going on that's very interesting. And it's a little technical. Right, it's a little nerdy, but this is kind of what I like about F1. Some of this, like, everyone kind of has the same easel, it sounds like, but maybe not. They don't have to paint the same. They get the same paint, but they don't maybe have to use the same brushes, right? If I'm going to make a metaphor, simile? Metaphor. We're going to go with metaphor. If I'm going to make the metaphor... Maybe they get similar eases, similar paints, but different brushes, right? So, some things that it seemed like is changing, which is, let's just say for the new person, what's different in F1 this year? It seems like the cars are smaller, a little more nimble, should be a little smaller overall. Little wheelbase is a little smaller. The cars are smaller, so they're lighter, which I think should mean faster. And it seems like from what I could tell, they have these new modes that, like, I don't know if the driver does anything with them or if it auto does it, but it has modes. I think there was like this corner mode that like kind of puts you lower to the ground. And then it has the It has the corners because you want to be lower so you have more kind of grip. And then it has the low drag, which this is the straight mode. And I think that it changes like the flaps in the back and then the flap up top. So I bought a car so I could show it, but I don't know where it was. So that changed. Now, if you're going to question what DRS, and I thought it was DNS, so that's my mistake. DRS, downstream replacement system. What the downstream replacement system stand for? Puppy? No, thought the doggy was up here. So the DRS is what like this like the little bloop, bloop, flappy thing in the back that opened, which allowed more air in and allowed them to go boom a little bit more quicker. They're only in like little zones, I think. DRS zones, from what I could tell. Watching some other creators' videos. So they kind of were, as they came around the track, they were able to open up this in different spots. And once they opened the DRS, it boom, sends them a little way. So what is changed to it? I don't know how it's not just NOS. I mean, they're calling it overtake mode, which allows for more power to be came from the power unit. How is that just not NOS button? I mean, let's get back to, we're Too Fast, Too Furious, people. If you're saying there's an overtake mode that allows different shit, that's just like hitting the NOS button. We're just going to slammer that thing down. It sounds like there's some little, right, it's like when it's open and how long it's open. So there is some things to write, but let's just hammer that button, you know? Get those overtake mode. There are new, what F1 calls them engines, they call them power units. So there's new power units in all the cars. So this year, I think before they were all petro, which is I think what people call gas. They were all full gas, probably like jet fuel engines. And now they've switched to half gas, probably jet fuel, half electric, right? Electric power, right? So it sounds like I think the racers, I think this is already true, but they had to more manage some of their power before, so it makes for more interesting for that. It said that the fuel is more sustainable this year. Don't care. Tires are smaller. And I think that's all. So, very interesting. So, a little nerdy, right? I would say. I watched a really good video that kind of went into all of these that kind of talked about it. But if you're new to the F1 like I am, if you have binge watched, if you have also been laid off, and during your laid off period, binge watched Drive to Survive like I did, might be interesting, right? If you have not done that, you might find this less interesting. But for me, I have watched 7 seasons of Drive to Survive in a matter of 4 weeks, which I think is fairly impressive. So, I am now excited. I feel like this is something that I have not watched before, but it feels like something that I'm not something that I've watched before, but it seems like a world that I've not been into before, and how much of an ecosystem there is about F1 and creators are talking about that. And this was just last week was like the first test trial before the first races in like 3 weeks. So that was interesting. I think I saw that. I had that up. I thought my McLaren team did okay, but I don't think Lando drove anyway, so maybe not. So there's interesting things in F1. Also, I was watching this video on the power units and something new they have, and they're testing them, but they're testing them when they're running and they're hot versus testing them when they're off. And the FIA, whatever, the organization that runs F1, made regulations that you had to... Did there? Your crow? I don't know. I might be talking my ass right here. So let's pretend like I've never said that. It'll be whatever it is interesting. This year, I'm excited for the first race. I'm excited for it to be what the kind of watch this was like a recap of show I essentially was watching. And knowing of how much of the recap show when it wasn't super, it left out so much of the full swing, right? Of like, hey, I know this behind full swing, but I still liked watching. I loved watching full swing, but how much there still was kind of that left out. I'm excited to watch some of these races and see kind of from week to week and let kind of the excitement build for the championship as it's going to be in March and we're going to be in December before we know who's the champion of the season. And there'll be a lot to kind of talk to as each race. And so it'll be interesting kind of as that kind of comes this year. I'm very excited for it to be. I have a good friend that's very into F1 and I'm excited to kind of watch races with someone that kind of knows a little bit about it too. We're going to shout out having beers at I think 7 a.m. we're going to start doing and watching the little F1 races. So excited for that. So we've been going for a while. So this is a problem. So we've already probably gone over what I set my allotted time limit for myself and how much people want to listen to me talk. Because we're already at 46 minutes and I still have like 4 topics to talk about. So might be a long one. So we're just going to go ahead and pre-apologize. And I'm just going to keep talking. But I'm getting hungry. So I'm going to have to stop talking eventually and go get dinner. So I want to first shout out Anthony Kim from Liv. One of the cooler stories we will have this year. A little shade gets on it because it's Liv. And coming from a Liv hater that's wearing a shirt from a Liv course. So I guess I'm not that big of a Liv hater. But it's coming from someone that has had some mixed feelings on the thoughts of splitting men's golf and our audience not being that big, right? If there was 2 F1s, I would say the F1's not going to survive. F1 cannot be F1 and F1 and a half, right? The drivers should be driving together. And the similar things I think I've come to that there's a lot that the live stuff, and there's a lot of stuff you go back and forth, and there's a lot of stuff that the PGA Tour did wrong, right? So it's hard to point the finger at anyone, and eventually I come to the point that everyone should be playing together. But this story from Anthony Kim is one of the cooler stories in golf. If you don't know who Anthony Kim is, look him up. He played golf on the PGA Tour, played in the Masters now, I think, maybe a decade ago. Let's see, when was this? I forgot why he stopped playing. He had an injury, but I want to say it was something else. But it was something that's what it originally started. Alright, maybe I'm thinking of someone else that had to go play in mandatory. Okay, so June 2012. I have this. This is according to his Wikipedia. He suffered an Achilles injury, which really was the start of it. Started his issues in the 2013 season because he won. Which year? Players. So it's 2000 PGA Tour 2006. Won twice in 2008. 2 PGA Tour wins, 1 in 2010. So not that long ago. Made a Walker's Cup in 2005. Made a Ryder Cup in 2008 and a President's Cup in 2009. So like a very qualified golfer, right? And then it gets sad, right? I think he starts after the injury. I think he starts having drug problems. I think there's even stories of him using drugs at, I think, Augusta in the bathroom, or I think at some tournaments, saying that he's having to go use drugs to stay together in the bathroom between holes, which for a professional golfer is insane, right? And I think he's very open talking about how he had thoughts of ending his life, right? And I mean, that's someone that's as low as they can possibly be, right? And then in one of the more miraculous stories in it, right? He just to get back out of the hole he was in, to get back into golf was what started last year, and he falls on his face, right? And in meeting one of the people laughed at him, right? And I would officially put on the record, I'm apologizing. I apologize for even laughing at him and any of the misfortunes, any of the bad golf. Right? I wasn't laughing at who he was, but I was laughing at the bad golf he was playing. And I'm like, why is this guy a professional golfer? And he proved every single fucking person wrong today. What he did, I hope will go down, and I hope it lives on more stories. I know it will be on every golf podcast this week. We'll be talking about it. But where he took his career from using drugs, think about taking his life. He then is just amazing to get back into the professional golf circuit, right? And then he fails, right? He gets cut from LIV after 2024, and then legitimately plays his way back onto LIV for the start of this year, and wins the golf tournament today. And one of the more heart-wrenching speeches you see after it, you really see how much it means for these people that win the golf tournament. When he said a line that he said, my daughter's not going to have to see her father being a loser. Right? Here is this guy playing professional golf tournaments and thinking of himself as a loser, right? And him to pull off this tournament today, versus Rahm, I think Bryson was right up there too. Incredible. Here's this thing. Let me just go down because this is a very interesting timeline right here. So, where'd it go? Shit. So 2012 has his first injury, right? June 2012, first injury. Doesn't play 2013 season. April 2014 says he's no longer playing golf, even on a recreational level. I think this is the one. He is one that had the insurance and policy in case he wanted $10, $20 million insurance policy. He plays in charity events after that. And so in April 2019, he has an encounter with a fan, and he says his golf game is non-existent in an interview. And then in January 1st, 2021 was, I think, the first time that it was announced that he was going to be starting golf again. So this is some man through 2014, let's call it 2012, 2013, to 2021, almost gave up the game. After being up there with finishing right behind Tiger, Phil, Sergio, Adam Scott, right? He's up there with the best in the game at the time, right? And for him to literally give up the game and then bring it back with all the problems he's had, with all the mental health that he's fought through. It's a very great story. It's very inspirational. Very, it's kind of like that, what was that, not in the same way it's drugs and stuff, but it's like, kind of like that Jelly Roll, the Grammys, right? It's like, 39-year-old wins a wins a Grammy, and it's never too late to start again, right? No matter what time you are, no matter what phase of life you are, no matter how old you are, no matter what's going on, it's never too late. It's just what it is, people. It's never too late. So very, very excited for that. To see what he kind of does. Maybe it's gonna go well. He might not win a tournament again. I think no matter what, it seems like that today brought him a good amount of peace and his family a good amount of peace, and hopefully some closure on his life for the last 2 decades, right? Where talk about the highs and the lows, right? He could have a success just probably doing circuits of talking if he wanted to. So great story. Interested to see, I'm sure he'll be in more interviews and some of the other. So check out some of those other the no laying ups, the foreplays, the smiley shows of the world. That I'm sure we'll be talking about covering it all more. Also, I shout out the weather. So it's been 50. I think it was about 61 degrees today. It's about 55, I think, on Friday. It's supposed to be 61. So it is now February 16th. I played golf today. I played golf Friday. I'm playing golf tomorrow. I played twice already. So I'm gonna have 5 times sans February 17th, which I think is pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that, people. It's been a pretty brutal winter. So to say we got 5 rounds of golf in pre-March. Now 9 holes, right? But still, very happy with those. Very happy to just get out and play golf, essentially. Right? That's really about all I like to do. A perfect day for me is waking up, taking the dog for a walk, getting a cup of coffee, heading to the golf course, chipping around, putting around, getting warmed up while I listen to some podcast or something on my phone, sitting down, drinking my coffee before, I have a little bit before the tea time. We tee off. We have a great day. Go home, take the dog for another walk, get dinner, and pass out on the couch we are 80% done with that plan. We have eating dinner and watching Netflix on the couch left, and posting this podcast. So unfortunately, we have to do a little bit more, but this podcast is not very hard to post. So should be a good Sunday. So film 2 videos. So the video that will be going on this Friday. So if you're watching this podcast, the video that will be going live this Friday is the one I filmed last Friday, which is, can I beat the weather? We'll see. It was 48 degrees when I teed off. Can I shoot lower than a 48? A lot of snowy conditions, so we're going to find out. But check out if I can beat the 48. And then we filmed what I think might have been one of my favorite videos that we've ever done was today. So we had two of the people on the channel that have been on there. The most of the people on the channel, Tyler, you guys know him as Dum Dum, and Billy, who's the banana. So we had Dum Dum and the banana on the channel today, and had a very, very fun time. So not great golf for myself, but some good golf from the other two. I had a couple of good holes in there, but it should make a great video. I'm excited to see the banter between all of us. I think there was some great kind of back and forth from all of us today. So I think it's going to make a great video. So that will be the one that's... I'll talk a little bit more about that next podcast, because is going to be a little bit of a longer edit. So that's one we're going to start. We're going to finish this one quick this week, and then we're going to do that one for the next week too. So lot going on. A lot of 2 big videos coming out the next 2 weeks. And then after that, we're going to be a little bit more in the season, and we're going to be right back into it. So a lot more starting up. So please, let's close all these tabs up. Make sure I have nothing else that I want to talk about. Now, that's it. So remember, like, comment, subscribe. Like again, comment again, subscribe again. That helps the algorithm, helps me out more than you can even imagine you guys doing. So, thank you. This has been, I am Kyle Sutherland. This has been the Kyle Sutherland Show. I appreciate everybody. You guys have a fantastic week. We'll see you next week.